Hey everybody, I'm Nate. This is the Shiny Shiny Black YouTube channel, and I'd like to welcome you to the very first Wednesday workshop. I've wanted to do this for a really long time, but I have always had a passion for musical equipment and discussing kind of the ins and outs of how music is made and what is the stuff we make it with. And I've been around for a minute, and so I thought it'd be fun to start talking about what I've learned about music and share the knowledge that I've acquired over my life so far. So today is going to be about this, my Gretsch Black Phoenix. This is a really special guitar, and I bought it in November of 2013. I often get asked about my band name, Shiny Shiny Black, and whether or not the band was named after the guitar. But no, actually the other way around. I had the band name, actually started performing under that name in 2012. So had been doing the band for about 18 months or so when I decided to go ahead and get this guitar and make it a kind of a part of the brand or the band image, if you will. And I thought it'd be fun to share the guitar with you. First of all, this is a Gretsch 6136 SLBP. And the reason why it's called that, 6136 is a model for any Gretsch Falcon, okay, which is what this is. And the SLBP stands for, it's a signature line, and it's a Brian Setzer signature guitar. Now, Brian's a great guitar player, but I have never aspired to play like him that much. This guitar had a certain set of features that were tailored to him that happened to overlap with what I wanted out of guitar. So the first thing is it's a hollow body. So it's got this kind of big chunky body, almost like an acoustic guitar. But inside, unlike some of the other Gretsches, this one has what's called a trestle bracing. So it's like almost like a little train bridge that's underneath, connecting from right here to right here underneath the top of the guitar, and it connects the top of the guitar to the back. And what that does, this specific design, is it gives it a little bit longer sustain of the notes, and it also helps control the feedback in a very musical way. So some of the other special things about the guitar, it's got these really cool Art Deco tuners. They're called Grover Imperials. And then it's got only one knob and one switch. Now, a normal Falcon has a couple more knobs down here and another switch right here. But this one is kind of like the streamlined version of that. It's helps it supposedly have better tone and a little clearer sound. So that's a big deal. The other thing that, two things, I guess, to me that make this guitar really special are these TV Jones pickups. I'm a huge fan of the Filtertron sound, which is what these are. And they just sound absolutely incredible. And then last but definitely not least is this Bigsby. And this allows me to bend the pitch, and I really like that. That's definitely been kind of a part of my sound since I really started this band. So I want to talk a bit for a second about how that happened. I had been chasing a sound in my head for a while, and got kind of inspired by a really good friend of mine named Ben, who was somebody who was really good at fully committing to a specific thing when it came to creativity. So he would allow himself to go all in and become very, very thoroughly knowledgeable about a piece of equipment or about an approach to creativity, right? And so as I was becoming a guitar player and getting into songwriting and exploring that, I kind of took my cues from that and really began to make notes about what was this sound. I kept hearing this sound in my head. I knew I'd heard it places, but I didn't have a good frame of reference for it. And I was in the middle of chasing that down. One day I was running sound here in Goshen, and this guitar player, Luke Doucette, who has a band called White Horse, and he also was a lead guitar player for Sarah McLachlan, and they were playing in our town. And during their sound check, he pulled out this big white Gretsch Falcon and started playing it, and immediately something clicked. I knew that that was the sound that I had been chasing. Not necessarily specifically what he was playing, but the way that the guitar sounded when he played it. And I really, at that point, realized a couple things. One was that the Bigsby and the ability to kind of modulate the notes that way was a big deal to me. And the other was kind of that big hollow body sound with these pickups. And I was sold. At that point, I knew that that was what I had to have. And anyways, without getting too far afield, that's what eventually led me to buying this guitar. So I've owned it. I bought it actually new from Heber Breeze Music up in Michigan, and got a really, really good deal on it. These were listed for, I think, $5,700 at the time on Sweetwater's website, and I ended up getting it for right around $2,000. They were trying to get rid of it. These guitars weren't marketed very well, and they didn't sell very well. And so I was very fortunate to be able to kind of hunt down this deal on them. And so I got a hold of this guitar, and I knew that this was going to be like kind of probably a life commitment to a guitar. So that's why I was willing to spend a little bit of extra money on it. But it was brand new. It didn't have a scratch on it. On the back, it was perfectly smooth, very, very clean. And so it is not anymore, as you can see here on the end of the headstock. If this focuses here, you can see there's some chips here, and a good one right here. And even on the back of the headstock, there's some paint missing at this point. And that's just because this guitar has gotten used a lot. It served me really well. It's been on all the recordings that I've made since then. And I really love this guitar at this point. But I want to mention though that when I first got the guitar, I wasn't sure about it. I didn't have much money when I bought it, and so spending that kind of money on a guitar was a scary deal. Honestly, it was very scary to spend that kind of money on a guitar. And then when I got it, it didn't play very good. That was very disappointing to spend that kind of money for a guitar like this and have it kind of suck to play. Now, fortunately, I took it to a setup guy around here who went through it and dressed the frets and worked with the action a little bit, and it immediately felt much better. But I do have to say I was a little disappointed at that point with Gretsch's quality control, that a guitar like this that was that expensive needed another investment on top to get it to play how it should have. But we crossed that bridge. So now let's talk about, just for a second, my thoughts about why on earth I would spend that much money on a guitar at all, and why it might be something you should think about as well. And this is my thoughts on it. When I was a kid, I noticed a certain family member in my life that had a habit of buying cheap junk stereos. Now, I couldn't understand for the life of me why we wouldn't just save up our money and buy one good one. And at a certain point, I realized that this person over a period of about 15 years had spent well over $1,000 on $90 to $100 boom boxes. And I became kind of convinced at that point that if they had spent $1,000 once, they would have had a much nicer experience the entire time, probably would have taken better care of the stereo, and would have still had it, and it still would have worked and still functioned and sounded great. But instead, they had 10 pieces of junk that ended up in the dump. And that kind of set the tone for me of how I think about musical equipment in general. If you buy a higher quality piece of equipment, it tends to work better, be more satisfying to play, and it often retains its value much better. So if you do need to get back out of it, you don't end up losing as much money. If you need to resell it, they tend to have a much higher value, or maybe even go up in value, depending on the instrument. So I kind of came across this rule of always buy something with intrinsic value whenever possible with music equipment. And there's this saying, buy once, cry once, right? So once I got this guitar, I've always thought about, oh, I should have a backup guitar just in case this one breaks a string during a show. But I've never thought, oh man, like, I wish I had a better guitar. I've never thought that since I bought this guitar, not once. And so I think that's a really good approach in general to buying things that are meaningful to you, whether it's for professional or for hobby. Buy the thing you want, wait, be patient, get what you want, and you're always going to be better off for it in a variety of ways. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me while I talk about this beautiful guitar, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you out playing it for you, and or even if you want to try it out, I'm happy to share. Anyways, if you've been sticking around this long, I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and if you'd be interested in knowing a little bit more about my band, Shiny Shiny Black, please check out our website, shinyshinyblack.com. And of course, we'd love it if you'd sign up for the email list. And if you're really invested, we'd love it if you would be willing to support us by buying some merch or some of our music, or best of all, sign up for our Patreon and help us keep going on down the road. All right, thank you very much for hanging out. And I hope you've enjoyed this Wednesday workshop. And if you like this video and would like to talk with me about more music equipment, or you have questions about this, feedback, you want to tell me I'm nuts for owning a guitar that's this expensive, any of the above, leave a comment below and let me know what you think. All right, we'll see you around.